This is a very important topic because how do we bring institutions like education institutions, the government, and the industry together? How do we ensure the collaboration between these three stakeholders? At the end of the day, this is the most important thing in the country today we require. For building Viksit Bharat 2047, the collaboration between these three stakeholders have to go in the right direction. So we have an eminent panel with Dr. Kishan Reddy Garu, JNTU Vice Chancellor, and Lakshman Garu, Vice Chairman ABRSM, my apologies, and Chaitanya and Mohit. Mohit is from US, he represents a company from US, and Chaitanya is from Hexagon, Sweden, a multinational operating out of Sweden, and they have one of the biggest R&D centers in India. Okay, by the way, he just mentioned to me, it is the first IT company to set up an office in Telangana. And it's a very large company with more than $6 billion turnover and one of the top three listed entities on Stockholm Stock Exchange. Okay, so starting with Kishan Reddy Garu, I was very privileged to meet you because my father used to be the JNTU Vice Chancellor when they combined all the three universities were together, Professor Lakshman Garu. Yes, I'm his son, so I'm privileged to sit with you on the same dais. And now the first question I would like to ask you. Now JNTU, I know, is a large network of affiliated colleges. You're in the center, yes. And I used to come as a child, I used to see that campus on Kukatpally. So with so many colleges, you have a large base of faculty members, research scholars, and students. And with all this happening in Hyderabad at the center, okay? So you are the right person to tell us how academia, the institutions, can collaborate with the industry and make sure that we make this collaboration very successful. Thank you, sir.
I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak on this occasion. And good evening to all the audience. It's later in the day. We have seen some very, very eminent speakers from the IITs and very eminent organizations speaking up. So trying to match what they did is going to be very, very difficult for small state universities like us. And basically, one point I wanted to make is, which might be hurting some of the central government agencies. We have the 90-10 syndrome. What I mean by that is 90% of the money for higher education and things like that go to only 10% or even less than that. IITs, NITs, Central University. Only a fraction, the 10% go to 90% of the state universities. Because the education system is a concurrent subject. The state governments are also expected to fund them. But the scenario is very, very different on the reality scale. We are very starved for funds and faculty as well. And I think most of the state government universities have this problem of faculty. And in spite of these trying conditions, I took over as the Vice Chancellor 4 months ago. So my immediate challenge is to get the PhD programs up and running in a good way. I was advisor in AICTE 21 years back as advisor RID, Research and Institutional Development Funding. So first of all, for the small, with the state universities, you need to give research promotion scheme. We used to give 5 to 10 lakhs. So rather than giving the big amounts, first start off to get them interested and get them a feel of how to do research. Yeah, so you do that, so we want to do it at our level, give 5 lakhs as some, I think, Ram Gopal Rao Garu was mentioning. Give 5 lakhs seed money to promising faculty to do some exploratory research and maybe publish 1 or 2 research papers. So this will be a proof of concept. And before you do that work, you try and do demand side research, not supply side research. Because what is happening is we are wasting our time and energy, several man years, doing wayward research which has no value. Rather than that, as rightly pointed out by the directors of IITs, get a feedback from industry, what are their pain points, then you try to formulate your PhD problems, and then under a PhD student, you have a couple of MTechs who do a portion of the work, and under each MTech student, I have 1 or 2 BTech batches. So there's an ecosystem of BTech, MTech, and PhD students working on important problems. So there is that multiplier effect, and you get to do some meaningful work. And we want to involve the private colleges as well, because what we have done, those who have a PhD from an IIT or a NIT or a central university can de facto are given as PhD supervisors without any interview, because they have that upfront credibility. And then they can also guide some students. And we would like to do demand side research so that it's meaningful. For example, 3 areas which come to my mind, which are mentioned in various fora, are F, E, W. Few. F stands for food and fuel. Both are very critical because of climate change and all that. You're not able to grow crops properly because of erratic weather patterns. We can figure out some vertical farming, what have you. Then fuel. Fuel supplies 85% of the fuel comes from crude oil sources and imported. So what best can be done by replacing that by various other renewable energy. E is energy and environment. W is waste and water. How do you ensure that your water is good? And the waste, how do you dispose it in a proper manner, using a circular economy concept. So this is going to be my focus in my tenure, which is for another 2 years, 8 months. This is what I want. So this, and another issue, we just advertised for PhD students to apply for a PhD program. We'll have an entrance examination. Curiously enough, 75% of the applications were in the computer science area. And only we have about 1,200 applications. 75% are in the computer science and allied areas. 25% in core engineering. Now, the reason this is so is students don't find value in doing a PhD in core engineering. I'm told in very many IITs and NITs also, students are not joining core engineering PhDs. But I think if you do something like the IIT directors are saying, maybe we can do something, but that's the ground reality. So how best we can address it, we have to see. And what has come to my notice is, those who are working as an assistant professor with a MTech degree, who want to upgrade themselves to a PhD so that they get a promotion, those are the kind of people who want to do PhD as a matter of a degree requirement to get a promotion. But that passion to do something original research is questionable. That's what I want to say.
Thanks, Reddy Garu. We see your point. The inputs have to come from the industry for the doctorate. That is one point. He said the inputs have to come from the industry if somebody wants to make it a proper doctorate. Second is a lot is biased on computer science rather than other industries. That point noted, we need to figure out how do we address that issue. How do we address that issue?
Yeah, on a personal level, I've done 4 or 5 projects from DRDO, DMRL, DRDL, because DRDL is very close to in Hyderabad, and I went and met. After 2-3 meetings, we were comfortable with giving projects to me. And we did, mind you, mostly computational fluid dynamics simulation work. Because most colleges do not have the wherewithal to do experimental research. Largely, we have undergraduate lab equipment. Unless you get a funding for a project from an outside source, that equipment we would not be having. So you have to have a licensed software like ANSYS. Then you play around with that and do simulation research with what-if scenarios. That's what I have done. So then we want to, because Hyderabad is a hub for bio, for IT and pharma, and we have a pharma college in Andol. So, and we want to tie up with a lot of companies, and we will provide the manpower, namely our master's, PhD students, to do projects, live projects and worthwhile projects. So there's a lot of opportunity in and around Hyderabad itself. And our alumni also are very interested in helping us with funding to see that we do worthwhile research. Thank you.
Yeah. No, just to add to your point, the Usmania Electronics Department, they reached out to me through some friends. So we put a structure together to set up a VLSI lab, design of chips. Okay. So I volunteered to say we'll work together. And I'm very proud to say, in less than 6 months, we've done it. And the professor, the department, and the principal, both are from electronics. So they're fully aligned. So one day they called me, I called both of them to my office, we went 2-3 hours. I said, sir, we'll work on it. And I'm very proud to say now, they finished that lab. And just last week, they told me they got an order of 4 crores from Government of India. VLSI design. Okay? So I request them also to work next 1-2 years. You should make that as one of the topmost VLSI centers in South India, at least. Okay? So I'll be happy to work with you on some of the initiatives at some point of time.
Sure, I'm also an alumni of Osmania University.
Okay, perfect. So we'll talk. Okay. Now, Chaitanya, you work in an international firm, Hexagon, and with Sweden and India, and you have a center employing more than 2,500 people in R&D, etc. Okay, 2,000. It doesn't matter, number 2,000, 2,500. So, 2 quick questions to you. One, how do we make more R&D spend? How the government or whichever way the system spend more money in R&D, and how do we improve our output from R&D to the industry?
So first, if we compare, majority of our R&D happens in Switzerland as we speak. Having said that, in India as well, we've started with 6 colleges, starting with JNTU, CBIT, NIT Surathkal, NIT Warangal, Srinidhi, and also IIT Hyderabad. We have 2 labs there already. And we've started doing joint research as well in India. Yeah, there's already 1 lab in JNTU as well. And so we've started joint research with Tier 2 college and 1 NIT. We've already filed a couple of patents from the joint research that we're doing with the Tier 2 college before NIT. So, we might think that corporates would want to work only with IITs or NITs or, institutions of that category. But trust me, there are good students everywhere, and we work with at least 4 students in each project and at least one professor, right? So we've seen phenomenal results. We just need to set up right kind of cadence, and so a lot of other speakers spoke about problem statements, right? So which is what we gave upfront, and there is a pre-designed scope that is decided what is to be expected to be developed in next 3 months or 6 months or whatever, and we set up cadence to ensure that's happening, which has helped us to get very good results from a Tier 2 college as well. So trust me, if you are really interested to explore that, you should do that. You should talk to industries and understand what are the problem statements. Whichever sector or engineering branch that you feel that you have got a strong hold, should look for corporates who's looking for research opportunities in that particular area and see start with one problem statement, allocate best of your students and best of your professors, and see that you'll get some really good results. So this we've seen it firsthand. In Hyderabad itself, we worked with BVRIT in Hyderabad, and we've seen phenomenal results, right? And how do we increase or encourage more and more corporates to come forward and spend on R&D? So taking cue from Switzerland, where majority of R&D happens right now. So there, corporates are given waivers in terms of entire tax on the R&D spends that they do, 100%, 150%. And also, they get 100% waiver on the revenue that they make out of this R&D. Let's say they commercialize, they build their research on something in Switzerland and they commercialize that, and they make a revenue on top of the business on top of that. So they will not have to pay any tax on that as well, right? So this encouraged a lot of corporates in Switzerland to continue to work with a lot of corporates. And today, the R&D spent of industry in Switzerland, if you see, it's around 70%. In India, it is less than 30%. Hope I've answered.
You have been now working, earlier you worked with the Indian company, you worked with the government. What is it we can do to make sure companies spend, Indian companies also, spend more and more money onto R&D? After all, they have to get a return on that. Okay? What is it your advice for that?
So one quick thing that we've seen worked in our research projects is that we've taken problem statements from our sales teams. So there are certain areas where we are losing out on competition. However, for us to build that same technology internally in-house might take its own time, effort and resource, right? If we were to do that in this kind of a model where we engage with a college and do a joint research, which can immediately reap us new business opportunities and also give us an edge over competition, so which can create that immediate business value for the organization, which would encourage the follow-on research projects to be well-funded. Right? So starting with a small project, but they've seen good business opportunities that getting opened up because of that. They're able to commercialize that research. In a nutshell, they're able to commercialize that research faster. So with that, the follow-on research projects would be even more well-funded, and they'll have larger scope to work on.
Thanks, Chaitanya. Mohit, you work in an international company. You were based in US, but keep traveling to India. Now that you're also involved in setting up a fund on startups, can you tell us from overall experience, how do we make sure that R&D gets more money from the corporates? And also, corporates should be getting benefited out of the R&D. Maybe you can draw some examples from your experience in US.
Absolutely. Thank you. First of all, thank you for the organizers to call me here. This has been an honor to be sitting at the dais with such honorable speakers and panelists. So, Sudhakar sir, I would say that the foremost important thing, a couple of points I picked up from Dr. Murthy's speech, which was very good, is it's amazing and eye-opening to see where India has advanced today. At least if I go a few years back, this research and R&D spend in India was very less, and innovation was not happening much. I think Mr. Modi's, all the effort towards Make in India has taken a step forward. But I think one thing which I liked about Dr. Murthy's speech was not only about Make in India, how do we do Design India? I think that is a very big differentiator. When you think about when real research and innovation happens in the design, a lot of companies are there, a lot of corporates are there in India, and who are focusing a lot on the Make in India, right? How can we commercialize, how we can do more manufacturing, how we can do more production in India. But there are very few companies which are focusing on doing the design, doing the research and innovation, bring the design concept in India. One example I can take from my previous organization I worked with called VVDN. They are not only doing the manufacturing and production, but they are heavily involved in doing the research, R&D, innovation, and doing the whole design in India. So now they are a very well-known brand across the different countries, and they're getting a lot of projects from outside India as well. So how we can get more focus from the academia as well as how we can encourage more corporates to work on this is one thing we can do is, as my fellow panelist was talking about, coming up with some initiatives where if the corporate can also get benefited out of the research and innovation, that will be really helpful. Like he took the example of Sweden, where they get 100% tax credit. Similar thing in US, you get huge tax rebates for all the R&D money which you spend. And so that's why a lot of corporates spend more and more into the R&D. And even, I would say, the culture, we need to look at how we can bring in that culture in our younger generation from the very beginning, right? Even our education system, I would say, is very much focused on just getting the exams cleared and getting into the rat race of doing the job and all. But the culture in US, I can see, like my daughter who's going to 9th grade, and there itself, they talk about the projects, they talk about how do you do research, they have to write the papers. So from the very young age, it is not about, even the grading system is not about how much marks you score, how well you know your books. They actually, how you can practically implement it. How can you bring your own ideas and your own concepts into the working. So that at the very young age, at the very childhood itself, getting that kind of exposure is really brilliant. So that is one thing which, if we can somehow inject into our education system, I see that is happening now at the education level, at the undergrad and the postgrad. But if we can even bring it, move it more left towards the school system, that will be a big help. Because again, as Dr. Murthy was also saying, today, even for most of the colleges, what we see, the focus of the students is how do I complete my credits which I have to do, how do I finish my coursework and get a good job. So their goal is how do I get a good job, right? Not really thinking about what can I make new. I'm very happy to see that a lot of startup culture is coming up in India, and that's very encouraging. As Mr. Sudhakar was mentioning, that I am also associated with the company who's doing the incubation and acceleration for the startups, especially in healthcare. And that gives exposure to all the different companies. The one good thing which is happening, and I think we should further facilitate that, Mr. Sudhakar, and also encourage that is, now all the big organizations, at least I know the IITs and all, have come up with this startup incubation and accelerator of their own. I think we should take it back to the other regional colleges and the state colleges as well. That would really help to bring that startup culture and give the exposure to the students how they can do more innovation.
Thank you, Mohit. Would you like to add, Chetan, anything more to this?
So from the students that were part of the joint research projects that we did around 4 iterations. So we had around 12 to 15 students who were part of that. All of them, surprisingly, we absorbed most of them. So that has become a good talent pipeline for us. So we offered them full-time internships and then offered them full-time jobs as well. Previously, we didn't used to hire from some of these colleges. Only after we started to work with them firsthand and seen their capabilities and expertise, we went ahead and onboarded them full-time. And students who, apart from those who got selected within our company, they got international placements which they don't even come to that college. Only because of the exposure and first-hand experience that they got during these research projects, they've been able to get that kind of placements and job opportunities, which wouldn't have been possible directly through the college. Because these are international companies, they generally don't come to hire in any college in India for that matter.
Thank you, Prithvi. Now I request Lakshmanji, who is the Joint Organizing Secretary of ABRSM. Since you see the issue from all the angles, from the industry, from the institution, the universities, my question to you is, how do we make all these elements work together? See, since you can see from a 360-degree angle, how do we make it work? Because if you ask me, this is absolute need of the hour. The India has to grow to the Viksit Bharat 2047 at the next level. This has to be done, and it's extremely, extremely important. I would like to have your views on the same.
Yeah, I would like to share my experiences all these years, more than 3 decades, I am working in the field of education and I am touring across the country. The 3-4 aspects, no, I will just share with that. You can understand easily what is the scenario and where we are lagging and where we have a potentiality and all. Ours is a very big country and we have a very big educational ecosystem. No other country is having such a big ecosystem. If you look into the numbers, in our country, there are 1.49 million schools. 1.49 million. And out of these secondary schools are 1,50,000 and add. And higher secondary schools are 1,45,452. School teachers are 9.5 millions. And there are more than 1,300 plus universities and 5,500 plus affiliated colleges and 10,000 AICTE affiliated approved colleges are there. And if I keep on reading this number, just you can imagine a very big ecosystem of education that we have. And when it comes to the skills, capacity, and where we stand in the education, again I used to say, as Honorable Vice Chancellor sir said, no, 90-10%, 90% budget is spending on 10% institutions. So here, whom we have to blame? As sir rightly pointed out, education comes under concurrent list. And whatever the ecosystem now, I said, 90% of the education institutions from school to higher education, state run institutions. No? It's the responsibility of the state government. Of course, central government initiation should also be there. And morning, Satish Reddy ji, he narrated many things. Statistically, he said what is the fate of the state-run universities and government educational institutions status and conditions. Really, it is a very, the terminology I cannot say how to look into this. It is everyone's responsibility. And somebody says, no, it is, I am a faculty member, I have no give and take, and just my responsibility is only that. These are all the policy makers and the governments has to take a call. And I do not agree with that. And today, you see, I used to travel across the country. Every state, it is the same, that no state universities are, this recruitment process, almost it stopped for the last 15, 20 years. Can you imagine? More than 60% vacancies are there in almost all the state universities. 70%. And there are many contractual guest faculty or teaching the, classes and all. And if you look into the state government's budget to the education, you see spending money on the higher education, national institution, state government is no way connected. The state government has to spend money on the government school education, teachers, infrastructure and all, state universities, funding. And every, year by year it is cutting down. Only salaries being maintained for there where there are full faculty members are there. And the rest of the institutions and students face is very, very horrible. Without permanent faculty, without any research equipments, without any projects, without any this thing, somebody may feel, everything, yes, it is a reality. You have to accept it. And, and how you are expecting a quality education, or you're talking about 2047 and Vikasita Bharat and all these things, unless until these government organizations or the policy makers or the governments, if they will not come forward and they will not change their mindset, this is not going to be changed. You see, it is not a priority. Education is not a priority. And I used to travel many rural areas also, the government schools and how their condition, how the school building and how many teachers are there and how many students are there, it is a big story. And when it comes to the, and there are very big corporate schools are establishing. Yes, everyone is going. Yes, it is now, when I am a student in my school, my class, A section, B section, 90 plus 90, 180 students we are when I am studying my school. And my teachers still I am remembering. And in my classroom, every section of the society, poorest of the poor person of my village, my town, and the big अमीर बोलते हैं ना, तो उनका बच्चा वो भी वहाँ रहते थे. हमारा सबके बीच में किस प्रकार का वो रहते थे मुझे मालूम है. लेकिन आज क्या हो रहा है, आज टुडे व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, या फॉर 1 lakh rupees who are paying them, for them these are all the schools, for 2 lakhs, for 5 lakhs, for 10 lakhs. And I'm not going to discuss about corporate schools and how they are training their students and all, and what kind of fate they are, and what kind of future they are. No? Plus 2, you are getting 95, 99, and when it comes to MSET or JEE, and your rank is 1 lakh, 90,000, 1 lakh 50,000. No, it is everyone's responsibility seriously we have to look into that. No? And everyone, okay, this is government policy is like that, government is not, everybody knows everything. But what you are thinking about it, no? Everyone is talking that, no, I don't have any responsibility. Voting, eating, government has come, and now we, depending on what government says, we have to listen that. No? And now National Education Policy has come. After 32 long years, National Education Policy 2020 has come. 5 years has happened. What kind of confusion it is there in the state governments. Few states are, yes, we are implementing. And a few states, no, it is against to the core idea of our party. And it is going to benefit the only people, those who have money and those who are coming from big families. This National Education Policy is going to benefit these people. I will tell you one more aspect regarding this. Today, there are so many private universities are coming up. And those who are having capacity of paying, I'm not talking about private colleges of our Hyderabad and Telangana, Andhra. I'm talking about private university has come up in a big way. Those who can able to spend some 10 lakhs, up to 10 lakhs, yes, they are all flying. And there are private central universities in which university the number is 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 number. People are ready to paying and going. And those who can afford more than that, some 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, where they are going? They are going abroad. And what is the reason for that? Yes, today whatever the National Education Policy is saying, yes, these private universities and abroad, they are all implementing all this today whatever National Education Policy is suggesting. And immediately they are getting good education and they are getting benefit out of it. And here my point is, really, if you implement the National Education Policy in true spirit, from ECCE, Early Childhood Care Education, from there to, and the 4 years degree system or university level, what kind of reforms that suggested, everything, who are going to benefit out of it? The students, the first generation students, those who are studying in the government educational institutions, from school education to university education. I have so many, data, information, and practical, outcome. What is happening? What kind of scenario at the ground level I can discuss. Today, time will not permit, And this is a very much, inequality. Morning we are talking about DST, projects, these. Again, where these are all funding, whatever some of the money is spending, it is going to very selective private or selective institutions. And morning, when I'm talking to the Satish Reddy Garu and even our Somanath ji, the ISRO chairman, I asked him, sir, so how many IITians or NITians are, eagerly, waiting to join in our organization? No, Lakshmanji, no NIT, no IIT, no. Those who are working in my organization or ISRO, more than 80% are from rural engineering colleges. And I have an experience with Satish Reddy Garu. Satish Reddy Garu, he said, Lakshmanji, I am just, for the last 25, 30 years, he's, once the engineering graduates who will come and who will join with, DRDO, we give some assignment to them. In one stretch, we explain to them and things will be settled. They will not come again and again for every small thing. And whenever some clarity required, they used to come to us. Today, yes, people are coming, but the analytical capacity and the other things, for every small things, they are coming to us. So here you got my point. The present colleges, they are producing what kind of engineers? And I know out of many engineering college faculty members, faculty, those who are graduates and what they are doing, they are ready to do job for 20,000, 25,000. What a fate. When it's come to skilling, where we stand? Don't think otherwise. Sir asked me the 365 degrees of the scenario. I'm talking just the other side of the coin.
Bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, I can say what are all the positive things that are being happening, and we're talking sometimes patents and startups. What kind of startups are coming? Yes, morning we heard that also. Really, whether we are producing such kind of level of startups or such kind of technocrats? No. And if you have an analysis of new startups coming, what is their fate today? When they started, what they are today? You have in a white paper or black paper, then you can understand. So why I am telling all this? You need a radicalization of the changing in the field of education. Then only you can see the real Vikasita Bharat. Yes, we have potentiality, no doubt about it. But thing is, we have to this imbalance is there. We have to address this. And you can debate on this. I can have answers for every question. Somewhere it has to start. And the public or, the elite section, from elite section to every, group of the society, they have to come forward. Yes, education should be the top priority. And if the governments are not ready to give priority to this education, yes, we are not going to stay back in the power. This kind of sensitization has to become in the society. Unless until it will not happen. And why in USA like countries, why the school education is free? How they will maintain the quality? Foundation should be proper, and then how it should be. And we have many examples, experience of the other countries. Since morning we are listening to many. China, how earlier how they are and today what they are, and what kind of strategies they have and how they will skilling their youngsters, how they will have a long-term plans, 10 years, 15 years, yes, the students should go and becoming a part of the, wherever something innovation is there, yes, they will send their students as a strategy, as a plan. They will go and they will admit there and they will stay back for some time and they will learn and then they will come back and they will introduce whatever they learned there in their country. Today I'm talking, this B-2 bomber, the recent America, B-2 bomber, it was on Iran, it has happened. And I thought of it as a new next generation bomber. It was way back, it was founded in 1989. I was shocked. And yes, today, we are, for the last few years, because of the government and government policies, it's encouraging and it's Atmanirbhar and these, that, because of that, so many positive things that we are able to see. If this, positive thinking and positive approach and kind of sensitization, and every one of every citizen of this country should sensitize. We have to come up beyond the politics, beyond all nonsense, I am telling you. Sir, Israel, sir, the population is not, less than 1 crore.
65 lakhs.
And what kind of, Purushartha, I can say, how they are doing, how they are dictating, I can say. Yes, sometimes up and downs will be there, and how they are influencing entire globe. And in our country, demographic dividend that we are talking about, most of the population of our country, the youngsters, workforce is there. And when it comes to how when the translating into the, capitalizing the strength of our youngsters and their, this thing, lot of things has to be made, and these kind of seminars and this kind of people. And one morning when just now, Murthy, when very emotionally is talking, I know from last 4-5 years what kind of experiments are being made from IIT. It was from scratch. It was started. Because of Murthy Garu, equal budget, the government of India budget, how much they allocated to the government, IIT Hyderabad, equal amount, Sir initiation got from Japan also. Equal amount of budget. And today he is telling, 1 person, 1 crore fund is there. Let us them more. And what kind of openness, this really new education, national education policy is allowing all this, this thing, is ready to do any kind of, what kind of things that you are expecting, they are ready to do. Yes, this kind of academic leadership. And just now I am telling to Sir, Usmania University, there is 1800, 2000 acres land is there. What is the, product, outcome? Really, if we discuss, we feel very sorry. Nothing, and for whom we have to blame? And many such things are there, okay. So many things are involved, sir, in this, and in many places how the vice chancellors are coming up and what is their priorities. And nowadays the government, this NIRD is going to shut down, here, National Institute of Rural Development. Many of you know. What government is saying, you have to generate your own resources for, salaries and other research activity and all, no? And now they are going to shut down. If government will not give money, and they are going to sending them to other institution and some private or what is going to be happen in the future, I don't know. But yes, how to look into this, it is a different aspect. Just as you asked, there are so many such angles are there. Yes, positively, if we start with a short span of journey, we are able to see a wonderful results. And this kind of constant, things has to continue. And we can see a change in the, definitely, whatever I talk, no, it is not to, it is a negative aspect. I'm talking about the reality and everyone's responsibility to see there should be a change and I should part of that. No? We should think in this line, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshman Garu. You have given a real elaboration of the whole thing. I appreciate that. And I'm also happy, at least the new education policy is enabling some of the universities to excel. So my request to you is, you pick up 3 institutions across the country, how they use the new education policy to the benefit of the whole university, faculty, students, like IIT Hyderabad. Maybe you should circulate that with all the universities, sir, so that at least people get ideas. Okay. Now coming back to today's specific topic of how do we ensure better collaboration between industry, institutions, and the government. In this, my request to you is, I've spoken to a lot of people while having a lunch, etc. See, from a government point of view, the policy point of view, you should look at 2-3 things. One thing come across the board, there is financing is a problem to some extent. Okay, I just want to bring you to your notice on one important point. When the startups started, I'm a member of a startup vision group of Government of Karnataka. And we have 3 guys who made $1 billion. I'm a part of that thing, and I'm proud to say they always ask my inputs beyond anybody. So one thing I want to say is that the startup ecosystem, startup projects succeeded because government came with a very interesting financing policy for that. What they said, any startup will finance, but we will not finance directly. They have used SIDBI to what they call fund of funds. They have given 10,000 crores to SIDBI, saying that you make sure this 10,000 crores only go to startups. Suppose I have a startup, I'll go to some venture capitalists. All the venture capitalists across the country, I have 4-5 friends, everybody taken the money from SIDBI, but they're putting the money to good use because that is a part of their money. They raise money globally, suppose they're raising 1,000 crores. Maybe SIDBI will be giving maximum 50 to 100 crores. But balance 900 crores, they have to get from everybody, all the competent fellows across the globe. So, sir, my request is that financing thing, what we've done for venture capitalists, you should please keep at the back of your mind. I'll come with a paper and give you a note, okay, with my experience. That is one. So if financing is come, serious problem will be sorted out. Second thing is, sir, all these, whether state universities or central universities, in the next budget, you should come with a policy saying that we are allocating 5,000 crores for faculty development, out of which 3,000 crores will go to some state government, and state government have to spend this money only for that, otherwise they will not. So a lot of the, suppose I'm a lecturer of mathematics in Bodhan or Warangal, let me get benefit out of that. Suppose I'm a lecturer in some engineering college affiliated to JNTU. If I'm interested and bright, I will apply for that, go to US and do that program. But that money has to come from central government. Whatever the budget, you can look at some allocation of 5,000-6,000 crores. So the faculty at the operating level will improve. These 2 points I want to leave it to your notes, sir. And thank you very much.